What's up, everybody? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar. Welcome back to my platform. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Big shout outs to Blagzit. She published our interview yesterday, and I know that some of our mutual viewers have come over to rejoin the platform, and some people that were not aware of my story also came. So welcome to the platform. Big shout outs to everybody who's there. Please, when you come in, please make sure you hit the likes and be on code. Okay. All right. I want to talk about this topic. This was just kind of a random topic. I normally don't go live this early, but within the space of a few hours, I got news of some very disturbing information. And for those of you that are new to my platform, I previously lived in America, and then I also lived in the UK. So I received actually information from America and the UK, and I want to talk about why it's dangerous to live among your enemies. This is certainly one of the prominent reasons that I personally felt as I began to speak this message of pan-Africanism and moving to the continent and basically not being tolerant to the racial victimization that we go through. I was feeling more and more unsafe in that environment. I mean, let's be real. As a Black person living in the West, you're not safe anyway. There are many of our peers that have cognitive dissonance that choose to believe that because they are citizens of this nation, this or that nation, that they are entitled to the rights, they're entitled to, so on and so forth. So I kind of want to talk about three different stories that I heard on today. Okay, just today. All right. About what is happening in America, what is happening in the UK. Obviously, I published a story earlier today about a woman called Sasha Johnson. She is a Black Lives Matter activist in London, and she has been extremely vocal about, the realities of racism, both in America and in the UK. And she kind of paralleled a lot of things with the George Floyd situation, and saying that, he is not the first and only victim of this kind of system. And the unfortunate thing is she was shot in the head. She's a 23-year-old activist, a mother of three. And what I want to talk about with this is the narrative. You see, that's one thing that you have to be mindful of when you are living among your enemies. All right. They have the ability to control the narrative. I've already seen some comments on that video and heard, different ideologies. Oh, well, she runs with certain kind of individuals. South London is known for this kind of behavior. I, as someone who formerly lived in the UK, want to preface, gun violence is not prominent in the UK. Okay, let me go ahead and say that first and foremost. All right. Guns are illegal for a civilian. They're very, very difficult to get, which is why on a regular basis, you do not hear a lot of, gun crime happening in the UK. You will hear about knife crimes, that's quite popular, and things like that. So that was the first thing that stood out to me, was that, this gun crime thing is not extremely prominent in the UK as it is in America. So that means whoever committed this crime had access. Okay. Now, it's not uncommon, and it's not a coincidence that she was a vocal voice for Black Lives Matter, and that several other young activists have also been killed or attacked or whatnot in similar kind of situations. There were actually Black Lives Matters individuals, protesters and things like that. We were finding them being lynched, hanged on trees, suspicious deaths deemed suicides, and all this kind of stuff. What this is when you live among your enemies, guys, you have no allies. And when you decide that you want to start attacking the system, you want to start attacking the government, you want to start calling for change, You have no allies in that environment. Okay. If anything happens to you, they will control the narrative of how that circumstance went down. Now, obviously, us, being a part of the conscious community, we can see suspicion all over that. Okay? We can sense the suspicion about the whole situation. But our enemies are going to paint a different picture. You are not safe among your enemies. If you are Pan-African, your best bet in some way, shape, or form is to divert yourself to a place where you will be more safe, which is undoubtedly here on the continent. Okay. The level of violence that takes place in the Western world, it's not even comparable to what we encounter here on the continent. Okay. And because they do control the narrative, they control the media, they control the education, they control, a lot of outlets of information. They will make you feel that the outside world is so dangerous, and the outside world is equal or worse, equal or more dangerous than where you're living, when in reality, living in America, especially for a Black person, is one of the most dangerous places you can ever be. That was the first, reason that I want to go over today. The second reason was a story that I actually ran across on Instagram. Okay, so some of you guys may not have heard about this story, but like I said, all three of these examples just showed themselves. You see, I don't really need a lot of reasons, because I saw many, many years ago that environment was very, very dangerous, and unlike a lot of you people out there, I inserted myself into various situations, realizing that I could be any place at any time and become a victim. And then they're going to paint the picture of what was going on. Whenever Black people are involved in anything, they immediately start the smear campaign. They start digging into your history and, looking into maybe your criminal record or, jobs you've had or whatever, and basically trying to mar who you are as an individual to make you, to make whatever has occurred to you be valid. Because obviously, if you're a menace to society, then, there's a lot of risk involved with certain type of lifestyle. So they want to kind of, project that, oh, she's a drug dealer. Oh, she's, a murderer. She's a criminal. She's been breaking the law and she's a social misfit. These are very common, stereotypical things that they will associate with Black people that have become victimized by their environments. Okay. So like I said, the second story that I want to cover is a story about a man called Ronald Greene. Okay. This happened in Louisiana. All right. So we're going to go from, South London down to the South of America. All right. And this incident happened in May of 2019. Okay. May 2019, the police took Ronald Greene to the hospital. And somehow by the time he reached the hospital, he was dead. And they told the authorities that he had died in a car accident. And that's what his family was under the impression. Well, recently, this happened 2 days ago. It says newly released videos show the sequence of events that led to the death of Ronald Greene, a Black man in Louisiana in 2019. Louisiana State Police released the footage, 9 body camera and dash camera videos on Friday, after portions of at least 2 of the videos were reported on by the Associated Press. Greene's death had been under investigation for 2 years. Okay. Greene's family said they were told by the police department that Greene died in a car accident. But the videos tell a different story of what happened on the night of May 10th, 2019. Can you think of where you were May 10th of 2019? Huh? It says he was taken into custody after resisting arrest in a struggle of the troopers. The report said Greene died while en route to the hospital, but the videos offer a more detailed account of the encounter, with footage showing parts of the car chase as well as the 4-minute sequence between when the police opened Greene's car and when he was handcuffed to the ground. He was repeatedly tased, kicked, and punched before he died in their custody. The first topic that I talked about is having no allies. Okay. We see that theme repeated in this story here. You know, what are you going to do when you are in the custody of racist police? What are you going to do when you have to seek medical care? What are you going to do when these people are the delegates of your job, your education, bank loans? You see, our people don't think far, because just being in those environments puts you at a heightened probability of being involved in some nonsense. You see, you never think twice, oh, when I call 911, you know, I'm going to be, I'm not going to make it to the hospital, not because I've suffered some injuries or a critical situation, but because the people that are supposed to be caring for me take it upon themselves to do something that's improper. You know, first trivia question. I see we have some of you guys in here. First trivia question. How many of you guys have ever had an emergency, a medical emergency? Okay, put a number 1. Have you had to, you know, take an ambulance ride or get rushed to the ER or anything like that? Put a number 1. Because in reality, this could be you. This could be me. I've had an ambulance ride before. You know, if I ask the second question, how many of you guys have ever been pulled over by the police? Let me see a number 2. Huh? Because this is just how real this is, guys. You know, you're over there living in America. You're in the UK. You're in La La Land. You don't have no allies with these people. Any small encounter can result in your death. And do you believe that you were born and created to die at the hands of these racist people? Because they decided to be the judge and jury of your life. They decided to unleash, you know, their pent-up frustration or their racial, you know, beliefs on you because you are the person who came into their net. Now, they boldly assaulted this man wearing video cameras. Okay, knowing that these video cameras were capturing the whole encounter. Then they turned around and lied and said, hey, he died because of a car accident. And then the police department colluded with them to protect this video footage for 2 whole years from the public and from his family about what has happened. Do you think that those officers got suspended? Do you think that they've lost revenue over this? Do you think that they've now had their reputation destroyed? No, the police department protected them. I'm pretty sure within the week that man died, their police department superiors and the internal investigation, they saw that footage. At that point, they could have said, hey, this situation is open and shut because whatever you guys are telling, it doesn't match up with your body cams. That's what the hell the body cam is for. That's my second reason. It's not safe to live among enemies. Civil servants are also working on the behalf of our enemies, unleashing their rage on our people at any given time with no parameters, no consequences, and you should take it upon yourself to protect your own life. You should take it upon yourself to say, you know what, this is a hostile environment. I tell you guys all the time, especially those with young male Black children, period. They're not really safe, and they're not safe in the UK. They're not safe in the West. Okay, if it's not gang violence, it's, you know, the psychological damage that they inflict on our kids. And we're just sitting there, you know, engrossing our families, engrossing our future generations in these situations. You know, you are complicit, especially as a parent, if you are not trying to get your children to safety. And it's just that serious. Some people think I'm extreme. They're like, Gina, not everybody can, you know, but all I'm saying is it's a game of Russian roulette. It's a game of Russian roulette. Today you might get shot, tomorrow you might not. You never know. I've asked the question, how many of you guys have been in ambulances? Several of you answer. I asked the question, how many of you guys have been pulled over? It's Russian roulette, fam. You live to see another day, and all them hashtags did not. People keep asking me, when am I coming back to the UK? How long am I going to stay in Ghana? Indefinitely. What the hell am I going back to? I am emphatically more safe here in Ghana than the UK and America. What am I going to do? Sometimes when people ask me that question, I think to myself, you don't really love me. You have no love for me. Because see, now I'm even in an elevated position now that I have chosen to speak out against the status quo and promote the continent. You see, now I'm even more of an enemy of the state than I was when I was living there, because I was a lot more discreet. So you want me to endanger myself? Come be on that struggle life with you. Come play the game of Russian roulette with you. The third topic I want to talk about today is also from America. I got this actually from my good friend, Sister Ya of Sankofa Repatriation. She sent me an article today that was published by CNN. It says there were 12 mass shootings across the U.S. this weekend. It says a series of mass shootings over the weekend left at least 11 people dead and another 69 injured. There were at least 12 mass shootings between Friday night and Sunday, according to CNN reporting analysis data of the Gun Violence Archive. The shootings, hello, if you hear your state, okay, if you hear your state called on this list, go ahead and type in your state, okay? The shootings took place across 8 states. Illinois, New Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, South Carolina, Virginia, Texas, and Minnesota. CNN is defining a mass shooting as an incident with 4 or more people killed or wounded by gunfire, excluding the shooting. So far this year, guys, what month is it? Can I get trivia question? What month is it? Please let me know. Also, if you heard your state called, okay, I live in Ghana, but just for the sake of this exercise, we have Illinois, we have Ohio. What month is it, guys? It's the month of May. Big shout outs to God and me. It says so far this year, so in 5 months, guys, in America, because y'all out here in the continent don't know. Y'all in the UK, y'all kind of know, but y'all don't really know. It says so far this year, more than 7,500 people have died from gun violence across the USA. We are in May. More deaths this year already than days of the year so far. Okay, we only got 365 days out of a year. We're not even halfway in, and already 7,500 people. That's almost, I mean, listen, that's basically 10,000 people. It says also, there's also been a 23% uptick in deaths from gun violence this year. This is why, guys, this is why it is not safe. It is not safe for you or your family to be living among your enemies. I hate to say it, that even some of our own people in these Western settings are enemies. They are contributing to the demolition of our community. They are participating on, violence against their neighbors and, co-workers and schoolmates and lovers and families. Look, the thing about the enemy's environment is very consuming. All right. Let me just tell you, there's more of them than there are of us in those places. And matter of fact, we are, and when I say we, I'm going to talk about, the conscious community, the Pan-African community. We are even dispersed all around the world. There's one here, there's 10 there, there's 5 there. But guess what? The enemies are en masse. All the way from London to the US, the probabilities of you getting involved in some kind of crazy situation, some kind of crazy circumstance is very high. So please, if you love me, don't ask me when I'm returning to the West with these kind of statistics, facts, and figures. Okay, where you can't be safe to call the police, you can't be safe to call an ambulance, you can't be safe to go to work. You got to watch your back all the time. And again, if it's not the physical violence, it's the psychological damage that you're facing. It is not a healthy environment. If you are in a position to do something about it, then do something about it. Do something about it and stop playing Russian roulette. I tell you guys all the time, these recent hashtags, they were aware of the hashtags of just the other day. They was aware of George Floyd. They were aware of Trayvon Martin. They were aware of all the systematic racism. They've been there. It wasn't that long ago. Sasha Johnson, who got shot yesterday, she was aware of all that stuff. And the mode of action that we have been promoted to take is judicial and governmental and these kind of things. And that ain't the solution. That solution is not 2021. I'm here to tell you. That solution is not 2021. The solution is to get the hell out of Dodge. That is the solution. If you're in a position to get out of there, get out of there. I moved out of the US in 2017 and I left the UK in 2020. Strategically decreasing my probability of being involved in some nonsense by simply changing my location. That's all I did. There's a statistic, it may even have increased since, I researched it. But when I was leaving the US, the statistics said that when you live in America, you're 25 times more likely to be a victim of gun violence or involved in some kind of gun-related crime than anywhere else in the world. 25 times more likely. Some of you internet scholars, you CNN scholars, you believe that, okay, the Middle East is more dangerous. The South Sudan is more dangerous. Korea is more dangerous than America. Matter of fact, Africa is more dangerous than America. That's the mindset that you have. When in reality, simply residing in America, you are one of the most highest probabilities to be involved in this nonsense. When you live among your enemies, guys, wake up. Wake up. If you need to visualize, physical combat, them old war movies, and, World War I and the Nazis and, all that stuff, the Korean armies and all that stuff, then that's what you need to do. Because maybe if you could see them identified as your enemies, maybe if it was visible to you, you would understand how serious this is. Because you got on one uniform and they got on another uniform, and you're living in the same neighborhoods with them. You're going to the same schools with them. You work with them. Matter of fact, they are in control of everything that we need. Finance, education, and employment. And y'all keep playing with these people thinking that they're going to protect you. They will absolutely not protect you. Racial biases exist even in the mental health sector, the medical sector. Some of you guys are nurses and, medical professionals. You know what I'm talking about. There was countless videos that came out during COVID about how these people were neglecting Black patients, neglecting, the elderly, picking and choosing who they were going to give care to. Are they going to save you? So these are the, again, the thoughts and opinions of the African superstar. You can keep blowing it off if you want to. Maybe you will be, you'll skate through life unscathed. But, there is 6 degrees of separation. If it may not be you, it probably will be somebody that you know. With these kind of statistics, especially you live in America. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Eventually, it will touch you in some kind of way. Friend, family member, even a foe, somebody that you know. Just being there. And if you don't want that hashtag coming real close, like in your immediate family, then you need to do something about it. Don't complain and tell me how difficult it is. I'm someone who has done it. I understand there are a lot of associated costs, difficulties, innovation. You really have to compel yourself to perform if you want to get out of the matrix. But if you want your life, because when your life is over, it's murder, she wrote. It's done. All them people that got shot up this weekend in America that died, they're finished. They went out just like me, just like you. Oh, I'm going to go to this party. I'm going to go to this barbecue. I'm going to go to this shopping center. I'm going to get on this bus. I'm going to be wherever I'm going to be. Certainly, if they knew it was their time, they wouldn't have gone. You see, that's the level of narcissism in the West, is we see these things happening all the time and we've become desensitized. I haven't, okay? And that's why I don't live there, because I understand the odds are not in my favor, and they ain't on yours either. They are not in your favor. In as much there's lots of wonderful things about living in Ghana, safety is paramount to me. Safety is paramount. You don't hear about mass shootings over here in Ghana. You don't hear about Black on Black crime over here or police brutality. You see, you don't even think about it. It happens so much in your environment. You just think it's the status quo. It's not. So big shout outs to the African superstar family. This was just a random video because of current events. Me seeing all 3 of those stories, from Sasha Johnson, to Robert Greene, Richard Greene, I believe. And, this mass shooting, I'm just like, yo, I don't know how you guys are comfortable from day to day, how you keep procrastinating, how you keep prolonging. And then guess what? If you become a victim, I don't wish that on any of you, but if you become a victim, then you're going to be boohooing and crying. But guess what? Your cry is going to go on deaf ears. And guess what? When these racially motivated crimes, take your family member, they don't compensate you either. That's why they start the smear campaign to make you, to make the reasons that you were assaulted or killed valid. So if they can say, well, you know what, D Cox was fighting me and I was fighting for my life, and they're justified, the case gets dropped. There's no settlement. You know, I told you guys about that gentleman down in Florida who the father of 3 who the police killed, and then they settled his family with $4 for funeral costs, $1 for his wife, and $1 for each of his children. Talk about disrespect. They killed that man. The family had to, prepare for his burial. He was in his 30s, left and made a mother a widow, orphaned the kids, and then they had the audacity to award him $4 for that situation. You see, they don't care about you. They don't respect you. They don't even think that you're human. In the same situation, they don't even look at the destruction that they have inflicted into your life. I mean, at minimum, if the police are killing people, they should be responsible for funeral costs. Funerals are expensive. And obviously, if he was alive in your custody and now he's dead, somebody got to take responsibility. But they never do. So what I'm saying is, guys, if you're more than a hashtag, if you feel like your life is more, it amounts to more, then you should be pressing to get yourself to safety. Okay? 2 options in a life-threatening situation are fight or flight. You can't fight what's going on and where you are. You cannot. You are completely surrounded, you're completely outnumbered, and you have no allies. You cannot fight. So flight, it needs to be the move. Flight needs to be the move. So I hope this message was well received. Big shout outs to you guys. I might go live later. I'm not gonna, keep you long on this episode because, like I said, it was an impromptu message. I think all of you guys, it really is what it is. And if I could just offer any piece of advice, I would say, don't procrastinate. Obviously this option is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have the tenacity or the resources to do it. And I tell you guys all the time, my channel is for the people that are in a position or willing to get in position. For the other people that want to continue to roll the dice and play Russian roulette, I hope that the odds will be in your favor. But proactive people and wise people take consideration of what's going on around them, and then they do what? They use S&P. Okay? They take account into what's happening because they're also aware that they too could be subject. I'm just as human as any of you. If I get into a compromising situation, for instance, like the situation that George Floyd found himself in, I would have succumbed as well. If Frank was in the situation that George Floyd was in, he would have succumbed. If Mind, Body, Soul TV was in the same, any of us, okay, you can just interchange it. Any of us would have had that outcome. You understand what I'm saying? So when you start realizing, wow, I've basically been getting by without being in these situations. I'm from Ohio, okay, where there's a lot of this kind of racial type of activity that goes on, especially in the rural communities. I went to the University of Cincinnati, and it was about 2 hours away from Columbus on drives. I remember seeing burning crosses and stuff like that on the way back to Cincinnati sometimes, and I made a conscious decision to travel during the daytime and not at night because, if your car breaks down, you never know what can happen in these situations. You see what I'm saying? When I think back to all the obstacles that I probably avoided, and maybe sometimes you are wrong. Sometimes you're not doing things that are appropriate, but that still doesn't give them the right to take your life. You know, according to their constitution, there's supposed to be due process. Okay, the people that are apprehending you are supposed to be doing just that. They're not supposed to be the judge and jury, and apparently they can apprehend every other ethnicity. They know how to take white people in, they know how to take Latino people in, they know how to take Asians, Jewish. They know how to apprehend everybody else except the black. So, you know, this is a conversation that I have had so many times on this platform. I cannot just sit by and watch people, you know, squander their lives and heighten their probabilities of being involved in nonsense, because like the article I just shared with you guys, okay, that's not limited to police brutality. That's 7,500 people that's been killed with gun violence in America. That's not police. That's not just police brutality. Police brutality is a fraction of that. Okay, but what that speaks to at large, in a larger problem, is the mental instability of the people that you live with. Yeah, there is no S&P really in the West. There is no problem resolution and working it out and sitting down. A lot of people are resorting straight to violence whenever they feel so inclined. So big shout outs to you guys again. You know, I'm not going to do shout outs today because I'm just going to wrap this video up. Big shout outs to any new viewers. Welcome to the platform. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. I see you guys here. I hope you guys went on code. And big shout outs to my moderators. Big shout outs to the customers at AfricanSuperstar.com. Also, guys, please remember to get your Our Superstar videos in. Okay, we have several of you even watching. We have over 1,000 people on this platform. We should have more videos. Okay, if you think that my content is good and you love it, then expressing it to our audience should not be a problem. If you are preparing a video, make sure that you record it. If you're using your mobile, record it horizontal, okay? That way we can see the full screen, okay? Some of you guys do it in selfie. That's cool. I've posted them, but just a word to the wise, do it in horizontal in the future, okay? Also, if you're watching us and you're not yet subscribed, please do join us here. And that way, you know, you can hear more of my perspectives and what's going on here on the continent. And, you know, hopefully some motivation to help you, you know, ultimately get yourself to safety. I think any attempts at, you know, in the West for our people are futile. I think we have a century's worth of evidence to back that up. And, you know, these solutions have been proposed by many of our leaders and scholars of the past, which promotes us to get back to our root, period. You know, you cannot forge your presence in a foreign place, no matter how long you are there. You know, as evidenced by what the Black Americans go through and what the Black British go through. You know, they are still not seen as indigenous to these lands, even though their people have been there for centuries. So let's stop trying to, you know, frustrate ourselves and put ourselves in harm's way and try an alternative option. You know? So big shout out to the African Superstar family. Until we meet again, stay Black and true. If you ain't Black, just stay true.